It's a video. I could look at it a little bit more. Alright. So this is specifically a gameplay of just Ichigo in Byakuya. That's the scene where Rukia left. But right here, there's a quote that says, "Be still, move even 1 inch from that spot just once, try coming after me, do that and I will never forgive you." This is what she said to Ichigo when this happened, because she didn't want him to get hurt. And then this is when he was found by our boy Kisuke. But this is Ichigo's inner world. And at this point, this was where he was turning into a hollow. And he had to find his Soul Reaper powers, which was the red thread. Which... this is the representation. And that's where he grabs it. And then that's where it shows him with the sword. And the background area was Sokyoku Hill. Looks kind of clean though. Change the world. And like I said, right, usually whenever we get these anime games, there's parts of it where they just look ugly. So far, like, the dude just looking clean. Like, in all aspects. Like, in terms of anime accuracy, Bleach, the game just looks very close to Bleach. They're not using Unreal... I'm assuming they're not using Unreal Engine 5 here. That's what I think. This is a different engine entirely. But, like, look at Byakuya's face. Usually you have, like, a slight, like, you know, deformities, like, you know, like, discoloration.
Utilize each character's unique Zanken Soki action to cut down your opponent's Reishi. Cutting down 1 gauge of Reishi decreases your opponent's Kompaku.
This bar right here, this long bar, is the Reishi gauge, aka the health bar. Each time you take down a health bar, it decreases their Kompaku, their soul gauge. And then once it gets down to a certain point, then you're defeated. It starts off... so Ichigo does like some weird like attack, right? He actually attacks him right here. It doesn't look like he attacks him. It looks like he turned around, but he actually attacked him right here. If you look right here, he attacks. See, he gets ready to attack, and then he attacks. And it says 2-hit combo. But as he attacks him, you see that the bar actually starts to go up. So if you look closely, so you see each hit might look like it goes up like a certain point. If you also look here, right? So after Ichigo does his hit point, then we have like some like reversibility. It's not that he reverses out of something, but he like charges him with an ability. And then he gets behind him with his ability. And then Ichigo's guarding, so guarding is in there. Flashed up. So under the bar is a block gauge, which means you can't guard forever against an attack. Your guard will break. As he attacks, it goes down. So that means that there's also a guard gauge. If you hold guard forever, eventually it breaks it. So then right here, it looks like you're the person who's holding down something is actually able to use one of the face buttons. So once you have a certain amount of the gauge, you can use an ability. Ichigo has an ability called All Out Slash. I don't know what that is. It probably shows it. He also has something called Welding. And then at the bottom looks to be Invasive Options. So it looks like the Invasive Options are actually... it's mapped to the gauge at the bottom. So you see Flash Step, which, again, Invasion Option. And then Reverse Action, another Invasive Option. So if I go back to see if did Byakuya in fact do that, this gauge is going up. So even when you're attacking a guarded person, it goes up. Yeah, so as you attack, this bar down goes up, like I said earlier. I thought it would go down for the other person when they're attacking. So this whole idea of this is Dissidia, get that out the way. Dissidia, it would be, this bar would have gone up, this would go down, but that's not what's happening. That would make for a different style of gameplay altogether. That's not what's happening. What I'm looking at here is that the bar at the bottom where reverse is, Ichigo, it goes up when he's attacking, but at some point when Byakuya does something, it goes down, which means he's using an ability, but because he's not a control character, so when he attacks, it goes up, but he does something, I guess it cuts to something, but it goes down. Actually, it might just be a different point in the gameplay. Yeah, so right here, this is all out slash that Ichigo's doing.
Cutting down 1 gauge of Reishi decreases your opponent's...
Yeah, so that's an all out slash right here. There we go.
Your opponent's Reishi. Cutting down 1 gauge of Reishi decreases your opponent's Kompaku.
And then when you decrease the 1 bar, you get that special animation, like the show like, oh shit, things getting real. And then you could do an attack.
Ready?
Rule 2, break opponent's Kompaku.
After damaging your opponent, unleash your Kikamu and destroy several of your opponent's Kompaku.
So yeah, right here, after he does that move, it goes down to 6. So likely what happens is there's probably like a window of opportunity to do that move, or maybe that's a part of it.
Destroy all 9 of your opponent's Kompaku and win the game.
Ichigo started doing like some crazy ass attacks, bro. So he's doing a regular attack. Then we switch over to Byakuya. Well, because right now Byakuya's in his base form. He's not in Bankai. That's why his gameplay is different. And then right here, Ichigo is using a different attack. I think he's using a reversal. If you look at the bottom, it says reverse. So perhaps when that fills up, you can reverse. And then he goes into another...
Too easy. What? Did you really think you could defeat me?
Using
Rule 3, turn the tide of the battle.
the spiritual power
Looks like everyone has, or at least certain characters, because we know Kenpachi doesn't have flash step. It looks to be that you have 2 special abilities that you can use when your bar up top fills up, and then at the bottom when the white bar fills up, you can either use the reverse action or flash step. For him, he has Seal, Zenbon Zakura, and then he has That Won't Touch Me.
accumulated while attacking. Unleash
You have the spiritual pressure move. Now they're explaining it. Let me just, my bad, let me just let him go.
the spiritual power accumulated while
So first he shows off his spiritual pressure move.
attacking. Unleash a special spiritual pressure move.
So I'm pretty sure that was welding. And this was the other one.
To activate reverse action while
Alright, so there's a mode called reverse action.
attacking and defending.
So it says you can reverse it. I mean, you can activate this while attacking and defending.
You can also activate reverse action while attacking and defending.
So reverse action might be something similar to the ability in fighters where you can like kind of like increase your style, like, you know, get stronger temporary. But this bar goes down. But this might be an all-ditch effort to kind of reverse the ties in battle. And because if you do it, you miss out on the ability to use the reverse tool, the reverse ability in flash step. So it's all tied into your defensive options. So right now, from what it shows, we see that you have flash step, the reverse attack, and then you have this reverse mode. So from what I can see.
Turn the tide.
And then
Oh, this is all you can do. Scatter. Senbon Sakura.
and that's just Shikai. And then now he's down. Now he's using Bankai.
It's between you and me. Bankai.
Bankai.
Kageyoshi.
So the other thing that we're also seeing is that at certain points, they get these super gorgeous cutscenes where I guess you can call it their transformations, where they go into their next state.
In the midst of battle, accumulated power brings you to an away.
And then there's another thing called fighting spirit gauge. So right now the gauges we're seeing is the Reishi gauge, we saw the Kompaku, we have the guard gauge, and now we have the fighting spirit gauge.
State. Unleashing your true power will overwhelm your opponent.
Senken, Senbon Sakura Kageoshi. You've reached your limit. Ichigo Kurosaki.
Bun! Kai! Tensa Zanketsu.
Alright, so what I'm trying to figure out now is this bar up top under Byakuya? What is this fighting gauge bar? From what I can tell with like the gameplay we saw so far, there are several resources that we have to be mindful of. Besides the general health, Konpaku, and the fighting gauge that's under where it says player 1 and player 2, we also have the reverse gauge under, and then we have the EX gauge, which allows us to do our specials, and then we have the guard break gauge. So we have different points of interest, which means there's going to be multiple resources that we have to be aware of when we're fighting. Typically in the more simplistic games, there's not going to be as many resources. As an example, right? In Jump Force, the only 2 resources that you had to worry about was your 3 was your health, was your energy gauge, and it was the stamina gauge. 3. This one, we have the EX gauge, we have the reverse gauge, we have the Konpaku / health gauge, we have the fighting gauge, and we have a gauge specifically for guard break. Again, in games like Jump Force, you can break someone's guard, but regular attacks do not weaken the guard. They also have the guard break, the weakening in Naruto Connections, well, Naruto Storm, where you attack and after a while it eventually breaks their guard. There's things that we need to see, like how long are you stunned if you break someone's guard. I feel confident I'm going to enjoy playing this game. You're going to have to approach it more like chess versus checkers, if that makes sense. Overall, I'm going to be honest. I would say I'm at like a 8.5 out of 10 excited for this game. In terms of the gameplay, this gameplay's cutscenes, the graphics look very good, right? It leads me to believe that this was the PS5 version that they were playing in this trailer. Definitely the PS5 version. I don't think they did a really good job of showcasing everything. I think they showed off the abilities and explained the gauges. The fighting gauge one, it kind of like skipped over, but the other ones, I got a good idea of how it's going to be. And like I said, this shit is going to be crazy. That's going to be it for the video. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. Ultimately, I am enjoying what I'm seeing so far, and I can't wait to see the boy Aizen. I can't wait.